What is going on to you Capricorns out there? Hope y'all are having a great day. Look, smash that like button, okay? There's a link in the comment section below, right? Called the Linktree link. Click on it, all right? It will redirect you to a website which has all the ways to be able to financially support the channel, so I can most definitely keep the channel going. Shout outs to everybody that has come through. Shout outs to everybody that will eventually come through in the future. Appreciate y'all. I have some of the best I have pretty much the best community on YouTube, because y'all reach out, y'all ask me what's going on, y'all ask me if I'm okay, y'all show love. So for you Capricorns, you have the Hanged Man, the King of Swords, and you have the Eight of Pentacles. So these three cards right here, right? So, sometimes people would be like, is there something wrong with you? It's like, nah, I'm just, I have different phases. There's times where, I'm energetic, and there's times when I'm good and I'm just relaxed. You should see me when I'm sleeping. I'm just drowsy, barely saying anything, eyes cloudy and low. But anyway, so the Hanged Man, the King of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles is about you Capricorns. Very much so staying quiet, not letting a lot of people in on what it is that you've got going on, and in essence, staying out of the way, says the King of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles, right? Still looking for a relationship, but not necessarily over prioritizing it, looking for it, right? Honestly, but staying quiet about it and not really necessarily doing anything too flashy. There is a part of Capricorn that is bold and brash, kind of like Leo, but there's definitely not a sense of needing to be seen as of right now. A lot of you Capricorns just want to remain hidden as of right now. That's my cat down there. But there's also the Hanged Man. There's also a sense of deciding that, you are going to be patient before you open up to somebody, right? And kind of let people know what's going on with you and how you're doing. I mean, you Capricorns pretty much have a good job, or you already do a good job doing that, right? In a sense of not necessarily letting somebody in. Are there Capricorns that do that? Yeah, but a lot of those Capricorns are really more of the bold and the brash ones. The ones that are just outlandish, and they kind of act like Leos, They kind of act like a more grounded version of a Leo, right? Where they're just brash and outlandish, and they're bold, and they want people to know what they've got going on, and beating their chest and stuff like this. And but a lot of you Capricorns as well are more hidden. So I don't really see, I see that there's some sort of misconception with you Capricorns where you may have the perception of thinking, well, you want to make sure that somebody is really a good match for you. So maybe you should hold off on letting those people in on your secrets. And I mean, of course, but what I'm trying to say is that that's something that you Capricorns already do well enough. So you don't necessarily need to really add on to that by making yourself more ambiguous. You can get to a point where you can ruin the relationships that you have by being a little bit too secretive. I mean, if the perspective of, or if the subject of what it is that you do for a living or who you are, honesty is key. You don't necessarily have to tell them every single detail. I don't say every single detail and stuff like this. When people want to ask me about certain things, I just got to feel them out, I get comments about it, but I never take those comments seriously, because once again, I know why it is that I do what it is that I do. And, I know what it is that I do, why it is that I do it. And like for me, I'm not necessarily the most revealing type. I don't want personally, I don't want to have to reveal to everybody every single thing that I'm doing, when I'm going through it, what I'm doing, and all of that other type of jazz. I'm not trying to be doing all of that. But I also understand that to a certain extent, I do have to open up, because if I don't, like it is that I said before, it will ruin potential relationships. You can become too secretive, right? So you Capricorns don't necessarily want to do that. Just know details, or little details, You can say what it is that you got going on, but just not a whole lot of details, And over time, you can begin to open up more and more, right? Because the Queen of Wands now and the Page of Wands are all about how you Capricorns, you have to be yourself. You have to be yourself. Some of you Capricorns may feel like if this is what it is that you get for opening up too quickly, You Capricorns may feel like you were an idiot for opening up so quickly when it came to your last relationship, or this person that you were trying to get to know. And truth be told, a lot of you Capricorns just have to understand that what's really going on with you is that you Capricorns ultimately, you're not an idiot. It's just that what it is you're learning from your mistakes. You Capricorns are learning from your mistakes, and we all go through those things where it's like we really like somebody and we want this person to like us. We like that person, but then then this person is so preoccupied with the games, they just show why it is that they are not supposed to be dating. They're wrecked. They're dysfunctional. They're not relationship material at all. So in the case of you now, how does that relate to you? I'm seeing that a lot of you Capricorns just need to be more of yourselves. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, that we all have a light side and a dark side, right? And that's why it is that in magic, we call that the left-hand path, right? And then good magic is supposed to be the right-hand path, right? So we all have, right, light and darkness in us. It's up to you Capricorns to become, right, a more fuller being by integrating or joining the two together, right, in a way where it works for you. Okay, you're too light, right? You're too light based. A lot of people won't respect you. They'll walk all over you. Parasitic people will take, will have a field day with you, right? Too dark, you'll dispel everybody, including people that really like you, that want you to be around, right? So the situation for you Capricorns is that you Capricorns very much so have to be aware of understanding that all it is that you need to do is just integrate that light and that darkness in a way where it works for you. You shouldn't be kicking yourself too much, okay? Because the Queen of Wands is a person that has to be themselves, and that they're not afraid of offending people, They're not afraid of ending relationships because they understand that it's not going to work out anyway. The Fool and the Six of Pentacles is about how it is that because you Capricorns are supposed to, if a person is really in it to win it and they're in it for a relationship in the first place, then they understand the fine art of reciprocation. It's not going to be somewhere where the person has to make you feel like you're not worth it and that you're trashed, because that's not really the case at all. What it is it with you Capricorns is that if the person does not, in a non-transactional way, give back to you, right, then they are not really the person for you. Because if they're counting and they're so worried about this, that, and the third, you're not begging them. You're the one that's offering something or bringing something to the table. So they should be bringing something to you as well, non-transactionally. And then now you have the Empress, right? When you find out some people, they may try to get you caught up, Just like some people may try to get you caught up as of right now, or I should say in the past, really, with getting into arguments with them. Don't get caught up with that, you know? You know, try your best to not get yourself caught up with arguments, because you got a lot of people who want to play deliberately stupid to, I mean, they are kind of stupid. I'm not even gonna lie, they are stupid. They're intelligent. They are intelligent to in the sense of like what goal they are trying to accomplish, right? In other words, they're playing stupid because they know, because in a short term, they understand what it is that they're trying to achieve. And essentially it's misdirection, right? They will try to play stupid because they don't want you to start sniffing around. You are the ones that's only supposed to just contribute while they sit on their lazy behinds and do nothing, right? And don't give you anything non-transactionally, right? So that what they'll do is they'll misdirect it. Oh, well, you know, now I'm gonna play stupid. They're morons, because in the long run, I can't tell you how many times people who play like they're so smart have problems in class with simple mathematics, have problems with money, have problems with, you know what I'm saying? And it's like all of this games that they're playing, and it's like all of this stupidity, all of these games that those dumb individuals are playing, right? It's like, my gosh, how come they're not so smart when it comes to real life things? You know, how come they're not actually getting to the things that they really want? How come they're not that smart? How come they're not street smart? How come they're not that intelligent? You know, playing all these games, getting you nowhere, and then they're so stupid they can't even see the bigger picture. So the Empress is a reminder for you Capricorns to, you know, don't try to ultimately, you know, go back and forth with somebody else. Because one of the things that the Empress doesn't do is get off their throne and try to argue and bicker with an idiot. You know? So now the thing is that the Temperance represents, you have to use your wisdom here, you know, and you have to essentially display your strength. You have to use your wisdom. And what I mean by that is that pay attention to see if other people are even willing to actually provide anything to you, right? Non-transactionally. Is there a king or a queen in them? How do they carry themselves? Do they carry themselves with respect? Are they actually presenting to you what it is that you seeing is what it is that you getting, right? Because a person who doesn't present themselves to be what they are, right, is essentially, usually, not all the time, but usually a person who has something to hide because they're dysfunctional 9 times out of 10, right? Right? So just kind of pay attention to that. But one thing that I'm also seeing here with this is the Temperance, right? So it's about, make sure that you and this person also get along, right? Is it about you trying to, they're running away and you're trying to capture this person? You're trying to make sure that this person is somehow caught and they're constantly running away? If they're not putting in any kind of effort, right, where it's an ebb and flow, right, cups, right, cups that are flowing water in and out of each other, right, or an outpour of water, or, you know, that's an outpour of water or liquid, whatever it is, that's flowing in and out of one another, right? The cups, you and the other person, where it's an ebb and a flow, it's a give and a take, but it's not transactional though. Then that's not, like I said, that's not the quality of the person or the people that you should really want to have around you. Also, the Strength card. Do these people have honor? You know? So let's clarify some of these cards. Let's clarify the Temperance. clarify the temperance. What in the world? Why is so many of these cards upside down, yo? Anyway. To clarify the temperance, you have the World, Two of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, and the Star card. Now, the World and the King of Pentacles are both Capricorn. So at the last minute, you know, in the last minutes, you did show up. So once again, the cards, the World and the Two of Pentacles is showing you, and the King of Pentacles is showing you to integrate that light and darkness. Be more of yourself. You know, stop trying to impress other people. Stop trying to get people to like you so much. You know, do the best that you can, you know, put your best foot forward. Be real about who you are and your approach. You know, be fair, you know, but if they decide for whatever stupid made up reason they don't like you, then let them come to that decision. See, y'all are too preoccupied sometimes with trying to maintain a reputation. And the over enthusiasm to want to protect your reputation, Capricorn, can be your downfall if you let it, because that's how it is that people will use, will get you to run game on you. They'll say something about you that, but then they'll try to flip it like, oh, somebody else said it. And then now you'll have to explain and, oh no, that's not really what it is. And trying to qualify yourself to the other person. And it's like, stop trying to qualify yourself to the other person so much. You know, a lot of you Capricorns can actually be more of yourselves. You know, I don't care about if other people don't like the way that I put things. I don't care, because there's been plenty of times where, you know, me personally, I have asked someone a question in a private reading or somewhere, and they didn't like the fact that I've asked this question or I've said this, and they didn't like it. And then they came back after some time and they was like, yeah, I was tripping, because it took time for them to really understand that they have to take their emotions out of it, because they wilded out on me when it wasn't supposed to be emotional. They wasn't even supposed to get offended over it, but they're just so caught up with their emotional baggage. They needed to step up and time to think about that. And then some of them have actually come back and apologized, you know? And that's the same thing that a lot of you Capricorns have gotten. Y'all are, you know, safeguard yourself. Take care of yourself. Pay attention to what you're doing, you know? Pay attention to what the other person's doing. If the other person is not qualifying for you in the sense that, you know, the two of you are getting to know each other, but then here you find yourself over qualifying, right? You're trying to defend yourself. This person is trying to get you to defend your position. It's like, it's not an argument. It's not, this is just something that you Capricorns need to see, right? Because it's somewhat of a blind spot, you know? And I've said this before, I don't care about trying to make people like me. I don't care. I don't care about any of that type of stuff. I don't care about what type of rhetoric people gotta say. I don't care about that type of stuff, because at the end of the day, and I may have to make a video on this too, spirituality and real learning and growing have nothing to do with morality. I've said this a million times. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people who I've gotten into conversations with who I wanted to buy from their shop, and they have called me stupid. And I still bought from their shop, because it wasn't about my emotionalism. It wasn't about trying to appease me. It wasn't about trying to appease to my ego. What it is that I need to learn to be thicker skinned. But again, you got a lot of adults who are too thin skinned who don't want to admit that. So anything can set them off. Any little thing can set them off. You ask them a question where you're not even trying to test them, and it's like it can set them off. You can literally ask them a question and they have a big blow up on you. It's like, no, you too soft is what it is, you know. And the eight of cups in the star card is that. It shows to be yourself. It shows that if the relationships don't work, then don't try to get the person to see things your own way. Those are only reserved for people that actually have that level of spirituality and understanding. You know what I mean? And I've said this before, moralism has nothing to do with it ultimately, because I'll use myself as an example, right? Or I'll use you Capricorns as an example, right? How you Capricorns are essentially hard workers. And a lot of people, when your mind and your heart are in the correct place, a lot of people may not really like that, right? That you're hardworking. A lot of people may not like how blunt you are, right? They may not like how straightforward you are when your mind and your heart are in the correct place. So they may get offense to that. But then when they actually get a chance, Capricorn, to sit down and really understand that when the two of you were trying to get to know each other, and you were trying to get to know them, the stuff that they got so upset about and they started wilding out about, when they really get a chance to sit back, this is what them calling you is about. Like sometimes, like when you get exes calling you, it's because they know that you're not wilding. They're wilding because they're too emotional for their own good.